Good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us for this webinar on PGMPW. Uh, I think I will start, and as the people come in, they can keep joining. But let's start so that we can answer more questions, we can take in more queries. So the rules is that I will kind of talk about the program to all of you. Meanwhile, whenever you have any questions, please feel free to type your questions in. I may use the questions in between. Otherwise, we'll take the time at the end of the webinar to answer the questions, right? So that's how we will progress today. Anything anybody would like to say in the beginning, you can please type it on the chat and talk to us about. Please feel free to type in, and I then probably will jump in quickly into the MPW program and what we are about. So SPJ, let me first actually talk about SPJIMR, or SPJN Institute of Management and Research. So SPJIMR is one of the premier business schools in the country. We are almost 4 decades old, 40 years old business school now. And we offer almost 8 programs across the various segments. Our flagship program is the 2-year full-time management program, which we started in early 80s. And we have moved on to serve many other sections and launch management programs for many different audience, including 1-year executive, 1-year modular program for working executives, family managed businesses, NGOs. We have collaboration with multiple schools outside the country for whom, and so we run basically a dual degree program wherein students spend half of the time with us in India and half of the time with these schools abroad. And obviously the program for returning women. And it's my pleasure to tell you that PGMPW is basically one of the only programs in the world which actually caters to the returning women, or women who have taken a career break, as in what you say. I call it as a career surge, because I believe that you were not in a break, you were just doing a different kind of a job and equipping yourself with different kind of knowledge, skills, and the attitude. So I am Dr. Ashida Agarwal. I head the program. I am otherwise a faculty of marketing at SPJIMR, been there for now more than 11 years with the institution, and I have 21 years of experience. And I have with me my colleague, Dr. Anshul Verma. Anshul, can you say hi so that they can at least see you?
Hello, all of you. I'm Anshul Verma. I teach finance, and I have an experience of around 18 years, and I'm the associate program head for this specific program. Welcome to the webinar. Ashita, to you.
Thank you. So we both kind of head this program, and with our team, we manage it for the participants. So now, as I said, SPJIMR is one of the top schools in the country. We are ranked among the top 5 business schools today by most of the publications. And this program obviously is a new program. We are now entering into the 5th year of the program next year. But we are already recognized by a lot of institutions, accrediting bodies and organizations globally for the kind of work this program is doing. So I'm going to just talk about what the program is first, then I'll probably move to the admission requirements and the placements bit of it. So we are an 11-month full-time program with a residential option. So we have both students coming from outside Mumbai who stay on the campus, and from the students who are in Mumbai who can opt to be a day boarder. But it's a full-time program for women who have taken a career surge and are now willing to come back. Like any other full-time program on SPJIMR campus, this is a very, very rigorous program which gives you an exposure to all the areas of management in the coming 1 year. And it requires you to work extremely hard and put in this 1 year wholeheartedly to upskilling yourself. Now, why is upskilling important? In this current world wherein, knowledge becomes obsolete very quickly, and you have to really update yourself with the coming trends, what the industry is looking at. You may need to hone new skills to be able to keep up with the times. And therefore, upskilling is important for everybody and anybody, whether you have been working or whether you have not been working, right? The only difference is that when you're not working for a few years, you probably lose a track of what has happened, right? And though you were gathering the other skills, because managing a family, managing a household, managing the social circles around us is a work in itself, because you learn a lot of skills which come along with it. However, we do not know what's happening in the corporate world, and we lose a sense of it. Therefore, a structured program is very, very critical for you to really get to understand that arena, to immerse yourself in the field of knowledge, to look at what's happening in the business world around you, and prepare yourself to take on a full-time, a part-time job after 1 year, and even to start your own venture. Because if you start something of your own, it needs to be contextual to the current business environment, because you will be an entity in that business scenario per se, right? So this is a program, as I said, which looks at the introduction to leadership skills. It looks at the holistic development of all its participants. Each participant is mentored by many people around, and I will talk about it as I move on. And it also deep dives into the functional knowledge, which is very much required. So let's look at the main characteristics of this program before I take on you to the journey which we follow. Now, though we are an 11-month full-time campus program, basically the program starts even before. So there is a 3-month of on-campus module, which is also called the online learning module, which we start in the month of October, wherein you would be given few courses offered by Harvard, and you need to complete those courses before you come onto the campus in the month of January. Now, why this so? Now, this is so, one, to orient yourself from the kind of life you were in to a study life, right? It's certainly, if you are put into a full-time teaching program, it becomes very difficult for you to adjust. So the online module helps you reorient yourself, right, to the study life which you would be looking at. These are very basic programs in quantitative, business economics, etc., which also brings all of us together on the same platform. Some of us are BCom, some of us are not BCom, some of us would have done a certain area in depth, some of us may not have done it. So what this program does is to get everybody on the same platform. It kind of gives you the basic frameworks to start with, which is very much required for you to jump into a management curriculum, right? So that's the 3 months wherein you're supposed to complete the modules on your own. There would be certain kind of help which is given on campus. If you have doubts, you can mail it. And then while you are on campus, in your first week of the program, you would be appearing for an examination on these online modules. Now, once you come to campus is when the rigor starts, and our entire curriculum is a blend of both the classroom and the non-classroom learning. Now, what do I mean to say classroom and non-classroom? We believe that a lot of education is attained in the classrooms, but there is much more to learn from your peers outside the formal classrooms, right? So we expose you to a lot of group works and group learning so that you can learn from the peers who come from the diversified knowledge areas. You also work on field projects, you work with organizations, etc. You do a corporate internships to be able to learn more from even the outside class. The classroom learning is made rich by real-time examples, case studies, and simulation exercises. So we extensively follow a case study method wherein you would be looking at Harvard case studies and learning from them, which is what we say is a reduction method. And then the simulation, which are scenarios wherein you are made to feel that you're a part of an organization in a decision-making role. You're given some amount of knowledge, information, and you need to make those decisions depending on the simulation which you are doing. Besides this, we believe in a full-time development of every participant. So there's a personal growth lab. That's in the first month of your joining the program, wherein the focus is on self-awareness. We believe that all of us are unique. All of us come with some unique strengths. And rather than trying to be somebody else, right? It's always nice to be what you are, because that's the authentic you. Be comfortable with who you are. Why are we always chasing to be somebody else? Why are we wanting to say, oh, I want to be a leader who is like so and so? You have your own leadership styles, and you need to be comfortable and hone your own leadership style. And the Personal Growth Lab is nothing but that. It basically makes you aware of who you are, what your strengths are, what are the probable areas which you need to work on, and how do you see yourself in the coming 1 year? What would you like to change about yourself? What are the new things you would like to learn about yourself, right? Now, this entire PG lab is then reinforced by 3 people in your life during the next 11 months. Each of you will get a life coach. Life coaches are ICF certified professionals who would be working with you for the next 11 months. And they are the ones who are going to help you balance the work and the life. You know, while you're on this program, honestly, you will go through myriad of emotions. There could be times when you feel, oh my God, why did I think about my own self? Am I being a nice mom? Did I do right to probably get into a full-time education? Would I be able to work? My child is still in a junior KG and would need my help. Or I'm taking away time from my family, from the other chores of the household, and investing on myself. So there are those periods of guilt you may all go through. And what a life coach would do is to be able to deal with these kind of guilts. Because always remember one thing, that if you are not happy with your own self, you cannot keep others around you happy, right? If you are not doing what you want to do in life, you can never empower others around you to do what they like, right? You actually cannot be a perfect mom if you yourself are not being the perfect you. You cannot be a perfect spouse or a daughter if you're not being a perfect you. So this person is very important. I mean, they work closely on a one-to-one basis with each one of you. Then we have mentors from the industry. Now, what do the mentors from the industry do? We basically will give you one person from the industry who's going to work very closely with you during the next 11 months to help you chart out your professional journey. Right? So these people will basically give you an exposure to what happens in the corporate world, how you can basically be a fit in the corporate world, what should you learn about. They also take you through a very formal mentorship program to expose you to various arenas in the organization as well, right? So this is one. So each of you will be allocated a mentor who you can work very closely. You will be actually meeting them at least once in a month for your mentorship program, right? And the third person you have is a faculty. Now, you will have a faculty mentor also with you, who is your go-to person anytime you have any kind of a doubt, right? These are the people on campus, so you can go them to understand that what should you be doing to learn more about, let's say, supply chain? What should you be doing to learn more about what's happening in the marketing world, right? Or what's happening in, how to basically read your Financial Times and the Economic Times? What news items should you focus on? What courses should you be taking on when you are on campus, if you have a choice in the electives, right? How do you prep for your interviews, right? Somebody with whom you can say, oh, can you please do a mock interview for me and see whether I am adequately prepared to be appearing in front of companies. So this faculty mentor is your go-to person for any kind of professional, and sometimes even the personal help which you may need to be able to adjust yourself with the life which you will be dealing on campus for the next 1 year. Finally, we have a proper program wherein we have internship for our participants. 4 to 6 weeks of internship is offered to each of the participants, which is almost like a dip into your corporate life. It kind of prepares you for what's going to happen once you graduate out of the program. It also gives an opportunity for the industry to understand your skills and for you to be able to work in the organizational context on a small project. So this is a formal internship program, which is mandatory for each of every participant. And we provide the placement assistance to all our students. Now, when I say placement assistant, it's very, very important. Nobody can promise you placements. And so we are not as well. We are a business school. And what we are promising you is a great education and an opportunity to step into a great career, right? We would definitely be helping you with every possible placement opportunity. We would be sharing your profiles with the organization. We would be preparing you for the organization. What we can promise you is an opportunity to appear for interviews, right? But what we cannot promise you is a job. So we promise all our students that they would be given an opportunity to at least appear for 5 interviews, right? Wherein the companies basically shortlist you and they would be looking at your profiles, right? However, how you make use of that opportunity is completely dependent on you, right? If you prepare well, you need to be open to the world around you. It needs to be looked at as a foot into the door, right? So something which is befitting of who you are, and what you want to do in life. Get there, gain the experience, and then carve a path for you further, right? So that's really what we definitely would do. So, you know, I've already spoken about all of this, that how we help you build all these, how do we help you navigate your career, be more comfortable to who you are. And one of the, you know, I spoke about the personal growth lab. We also have a leadership lab, which is done in the last 2 months of the program. So what you do in a personal growth lab is to understand yourself. And what you do in the leadership lab is now to say, okay, you understand yourself. Now, how can you be an effective leader? How can you translate those skills in being an effective leader, right? And we also have leadership lecture series. And, you know, I invite you all to please explore our website, because you will know the kind of people who come and speak with our students. Leadership series involves senior corporate leaders and business heads who come on a regular basis to speak with our students and to tell them what's happening in the corporate world and how they can prepare themselves for the corporate life abroad. Now, I'm going to quickly at this point share with you how, you know, this entire schedule or the 2 years would look like, which I would call as a student journey. And I'm sure that you can see that on your screen. So as I told you that you would basically start in the month of October with a self-study module. In the month of January, which is when you come on the campus, you get into the General Management Foundation courses. These are the basic courses which slowly take you through that what is required in the management world. So that builds your overview of what management is all about. Then you move on from the March to May period to get into more functional courses, wherein you get exposed to the basic courses in the area of marketing, finance, HR, operations, strategy, etc. Once you finish that is when you now start building the depth of your understanding, right? We do not, from the next year, will be offering specialization. What we believe and the feedback we have got from the industry is what they need is a general management specialists and not the functional specialists. We need to have students who are comfortable with all the functional areas, who are open to working in all the functional areas. Yes, by the logic of where you come from, the probability that you go into the broad functional area, which would encompass your experience of the past, is higher. However, we will not be saying that you are specialized in operations or marketing or finance or human resource, but you are a general management specialist wherein you are exposed to all the areas, and therefore you have a capability of looking at multiple job roles and job profiles. What we do is to offer a concentration or a minor. So in the June to August time period, we will be offering you an opportunity to take 4 courses in the area which you come from, so that whichever area you're coming from, you can build in a little depth into that area. However, that is not qualifying you as a specialist of that area. You will not be graduating as a functional specialist, but you will just be exposed to a little more of that area through these focus courses, which are the 4 credits of the entire curriculum. But during this time, you actually will look at the in-depth areas of other functions. all of you. So whether you have anything to do with marketing or not, whether you've done marketing or not, you would probably be studying consumer behavior, brand management. You would be studying banking and financial services, or you would be looking at the advanced corporate finance, even if you are not from the finance area. You would be looking at supply chain logistics, even though you're not from the operations area. So you build understanding of various functions, right? So you will do 4 courses which are across the functions, and you will do 4, actually 5 across functions and 4 within the function which you want to learn more about or you come in. However, this is not qualifying you, as I said, as a specialist in that area. Right? Then comes your August to September phase, wherein you would be actually going for your internships. So you would be doing a 6 weeks internship, again in a general management role across the business functions. And finally, the last month is a advanced integrated management courses, wherein whatever you have learned till now, you would actually be applying them to the real business scenarios, right? And December would be the end of the program, wherein then you would basically be graduating with all the knowledge around here. As I said, there would be 2 leadership labs, which are going to help you build and be comfortable with who you are. Then there is a personal development program, which is basically, you know, a lot of workshops around personal branding, how to negotiate, you know, how to identify yourself in terms of the negotiation skills, build your networks. You know, there are coaching sessions, there are feedback sessions from peers, from your teachers, etc. Leadership lecture series, which I've already spoken about. So these are all the activities besides the classroom teaching, which you would be doing to build a holistic self, right? Now, this is career development cell of the program, which helps you get on to the jobs, get on to your career trajectory. Now, how do we start it? In the first phase, we'll be making you aware of what the activities of CDC are. There are certain kind of rules and the regulations which we follow. As you join, each of you will get an opportunity to do your profile mapping, which is to fit your profile into a larger spectrum of things. How do you build your CV? What kind of roles, what kind of companies, what kind of arenas can you explore in a general management domain, on the basis of which you also would be allocated your mentor. You would be going through CV workshops, personal branding workshops, networking opportunities, all with your with the mentors and the people on our panel. In the last 2 phases is when you would actually be doing interview training. You would be taken through mock interviews. You would be appearing in front of professionals who would be training you for interview GD processes. You would be working in groups with your peers, with the faculty members to hone your skills into various arenas, exposed to various kind of skills. Company starts coming and talking about what they have to offer, and your CVs are sent to partner, not partner, I would say, but organization we contact, and every year we contact more than 2,000 organizations, because, you know, lateral placements are like one-to-one placements. They don't recruit in bulk. It depends on the kind of roles, responsibilities open in the organization every year, which could be different from the last year. The kind of organizations which we approach are also different because it depends on the batch profile, you know. Where are the people coming from? What are the basic skills and the knowledge which my student group is coming from? And according to that, we approach the companies, and they come back with a short list, and then the students go through the entire interview and the placement process. We follow the placement rules as any V school follows, which is no shopping around. Whatever is the first role which you are getting is the one you need to accept, which is the norm worldwide for any institution which offers placement opportunities, right? So it's not like you're shopping, but it's whatever is the first thing which comes your way, you need to pick that up for your jobs. Okay, so this was basically what we already spoke about. Now coming to, I will probably speak about admission process at this point of time before I get on to the placements. So our admission process has already started. We opened up the form filling from the month of April. What we do is we follow the rolling admission. Now let's look at eligibility. So the eligibility is that you need to be a graduate from any university in any field. You can be an engineer or a non-engineer. You can also be a professional or a postgraduate, but a minimum degree requirement is a graduate degree with minimum of 4 years of work experience. So you could be having a work experience in any domain, and then minimum 1 year of break due to any reason. And this 1 year of break needs to be over before you join the program. So I mean, obviously we would look at the break which is taken for any kind of a social reason, you were not able to continue because you had a responsibility to take on, or for some or whatever reason you need to take on. So that's a requirement, eligibility for the admissions. All of you will be required to appear for GMAT, right? So we have a GMAT exam as an important exam. As of now, we do not have a cutoff score. So you can actually submit your GMAT scores till the month of November 10th. That is before the Diwali. You would be allowed even after you start your online module. So that's not a criteria for it, kind of taking you in. But a lot of companies require a GMAT score for their placement process and to determine the quality of the program. So we very strongly urge you all to have a score of more than 500. However, if you do not have, doesn't make you ineligible from the program, but you definitely need to appear for the GMAT scores, for the GMAT exam. As you apply, you would be getting a mail from us for appearing in a personal interview, 2 rounds of personal interview with us. So even if we don't open up, our first round of personal interviews are starting, we will have it in the month of June, towards the end of the June. So we will be doing it online, either on the Zoom or the Skype. You will be appearing for 2 sections. The first round is more technical, which will basically understand what you've done, your profile. And the second round is more, in terms of your skills and whether you are fit for the program, whether your value system is a fit for the program, and assessing whether you would be able to fulfill your program per se or not, right? And based on your performance in these 2 rounds, you would be offered an admission or not offered an admission. And then there are certain timelines to be followed so that you can be enrolled and you can start your online process in the month of October. So this is our admission process. And Dr. Anshul, can I take on the placements before we move on to the questions probably once?
Yeah, we can take on placements, but there are some questions regarding admission process. So
okay.
We have a question from Anita Sarakamu. And the question is how the admission interview procedure is affected due to COVID-19. I'm sure you are already planning to address the same. Yes, so Anita, the admission process, what we are going to do is that most part of the admission process is going to be through Zoom only, right? So interviews are going to be through Zoom, right? Because we also understand that due to COVID, the traveling and other things are going to be difficult for our would-be participants like you, right? Another question, Ashita, is that she wants to know about the 4 specializations available. She is interested in information systems, right? She wants to know if they can take any area of extra specialization such as data analytics. So if Ashita, would you like to answer this?
Yeah. So as I was telling, that this year we are not offering the specialization, but if you are interested in information, we do not have specialization in analytics. Specialization is in the areas of basic areas. So we have to look at your profile, Anita, but if you have some experience in this particular area, yes, you can take your minor concentration in information management, which is you can do 4 credits in information management. We offer many courses on data analytics, honestly, which is a part of the curriculum itself. We do not have extra specialization on data analytics. However, if the batch, there are people who want to really take on more advanced courses, but we really need to look at your profile to see that we can add on. You still would be doing about 2 courses in data analytics, and within the information management space, there would be another few courses on, analytics in the information space. So that's what you can do, which is to choose the minor. However, as I said, this year we are not giving you a specialization per se.
Right. We have Anita, to highlight the same thing, we have 2 credits of data analytics already there in the program architecture. On the basis of larger batch profile, we may include more of those subjects, right?
And
Uh,
when I say 2 credits, Anshul, they may want to know. So 2 credits means 2 courses, which is almost
yes,
about 35 hours of classroom training. So 2 credits will almost be equal to 35 hours of classroom training in the area of analytics.
right. Placement questions we will be taking slightly later. Right. So there is a question from Meenakshi Dabral, and she asked that considering the pandemic and the situation in Mumbai, hopefully by next year situation will be stable. In case it's otherwise, would you be considering online classes? So I would like to initiate the answer to this. So Meenakshi, we are already having online classes for all our batches, right? But what we can see and what and see at the end of the day, it would depend on how COVID reacts to all of us, right? Uh, we think that the situation should be stable by the time this batch joins, right? If it is not stable, in that case, we will take a decision that how much of the online classes to be taken for the batch. Ashita, if you want to add anything to that, yeah, please.
So we are, as Anshul mentioned, that we are already doing the online classes and without any compromise, which means that the faculty, so we have a full-time core faculty who teaches all our programs, including the MPW program. So both of us teach every other program on campus, including the MPW. And the same faculty members are doing online classes, which are as interactive, probably, whatever the maximum can be. And the students are really happy. The feedback is very positive. That's the maximum we can do in this scenario. However, we have not decreased the rigor of the course, which means that it still takes that much of an effort to graduate from the program. We are hoping that the government would allow us to be all back on campus definitely by September, if not earlier. Next year is too far away, and the world really cannot survive. Even the international universities have started opening up in the Europe. US business schools have already given the dates of January to open up on a physical location. All the schools in US are also slated to open in the month of September. So definitely by January, we would be back on campus. We're in fact preparing that probably even for this batch, we are able to get them back on campus by the end of August, probably latest. So I think that
Right.
should not be a
Yeah.
consideration.
Another question comes from Dipali, and what she asks is, how candidates are going to sort in case of admissions? I think, will there be interview or written exam? Ashita, would you like to take that?
So there will be interviews. There is no written exam. You have to appear for GMAT, as I say, which you have to block your time for your convenience, prepare for it. So what you can do, and GMAT is very simple. GMAT is basically testing you in basic English and maths learned during the 9th and the 10th standards. We do not have a very high requirement of 700. So getting a score of 500, we suggest, but as I said, it's not a mandatory need as well. You can block your time in the month of September. You still have about 3-4 months to prepare for it, which is adequate enough. Even if you give about 2 hours a day for that, you can easily expect to get a score of 500 plus. You can submit your scores till the month of November. However, your selection would be dependent on your interview process. So there are 2 rounds of interview, which I already mentioned about to you, and it would be dependent on that. So that's the admission process. Actually, there's a question from Dipali Patil, I think in the beginning, and she says that she has teaching experience. What field would be good for me? What are the changes to get the campus recruitment with average package, etc. So Dipali, as I said, we are not offering specializations from the next year. So you would also be graduating in the general management field. We have had students in the past who come from the teaching background. I specifically at this point remember 2 of my students. One of them currently is now working in the HR of Axis Bank based out of Noida. The other one is working with Pidilite Industries, again in the HR department. So these are 2 of my students who come from the teaching field and have been able to secure jobs. You see, package, neither I can tell you nor you can tell. See, package is dependent on what you come with and also the kind of value the organization see in you. So like, for example, a student who may come with a package of 9 lakhs, right? A 20% hike for them could be just taking them about 11.5. A student who comes with 27, or 25 could be given 27 lakhs, right? So somebody who comes with 9, we have had experiences also getting about 18 or 19. It really depends on the company, how much value they see, the role they look for, what you come with, all of that. So it's very, very varied. Package is very, very varied for lateral kind of jobs. And as I said, I cannot promise a package, a role, or anything. In fact, companies select you, they look at your past profile, and as students, we are not giving, we in any school, whether it's a 2-year program or an MPW, students don't get a choice on choosing the company, the profile, the salaries, etc. That's offered in an entire business school process. That's how top business schools recruit, and that's the reason I've been upfront from you that please don't think I'm promising you placements. I'm promising you job opportunities, and that we will live up to, because the kind of training we give you is what I believe in. I know many of you actually could have appeared for a lot of interviews, and the first question we generally are asked is, okay, why did you take a break, and are you planning to take another break? Which probably all of us are very uncomfortable answering such questions. I know for a fact that all the companies who come to recruit from the MPW program won't ask these questions, because they know that you have invested 1 year of your life doing this rigorous full-time program. And if you've taken that decision, you cannot be more serious for building your own career. So that, this program actually takes away the impact of time away from work. Whatever the number of years you have missed out on, that is taken away from this program. So wherever you were expecting yourself to be, had you not taken the break, is where this program will take you to. Okay. And I'm sure each of you would have that different trajectory.
Right. So the next question is from Anita Goram. She asked that I do not have any GMAT score as I have not attended the exam. I am a software consultant having 8 years experience currently in a career break. Can I get admission? So Anita, you can get admission provided you are able to crack the interviews, right? And the process. Regarding GMAT, we allow you to submit the GMAT score by December. So you can prepare well, you can give GMAT, you can schedule your GMAT exam, you can give GMAT, and by the end of December, you can submit your GMAT score. I hope that clarifies your question, right? So the processing can be done, the processing of application can be done, but the GMAT score can be submitted by December.
Yeah, and you will be offered, as I said, that's not a mandatory score requirement or an elimination selection process, but it's an important fulfillment process towards starting your classes, right? Since there's no specialization, will it affect our career choice? No, actually, we have removed specialization to increase the career choice, not to impact it negatively, honestly speaking. So the feedback we've been getting from industries, and I must tell you that we have 16 corporate HR heads who are on our advisory council, who meet minimum 2 to 3 times in a year to basically design this program, the curriculum and the entire structure of the program. And these are country HR heads of Aditya Birla, Axis, Pidilite, Bridgestone, many other companies. These are like the corporate brass of their organizations, and they work with us because this is a cause which is very, very close to their heart. And that is the feedback we've got from them, that what happens is that if you are specializing, right, and let's say that there are few roles available in information management that particular year. So what happens is that your ability to secure a job becomes lesser and lesser. The probability becomes lesser and lesser. Whereas when you specialize in a general management program, you are open to more roles. You may still get into a role wherein it's a combination of marketing and information management, or an HR or information management, right? And so mindset is not like, oh, I am in information management or I am in marketing, so this is the only role I'm going to do. It opens up the horizons for you. It gets you many more opportunities, because when we say general management, it is basically bringing in the ability to work across the various functions. However, the 4 courses you do also gives you a deeper understanding in your area, right? So wherein you may still end up doing a role which is core into IM, but If you don't, neither you are unhappy and neither the organization is. In fact, all the top business schools offer a general management program. See, for SPJIMR, having a specialization program for freshers makes sense, because when freshers start, they start in a specific domain. And after 4-5 years is when they move as generalists, right? Whereas you guys already come with a 4 year, 5 year of experience, and therefore you need to move to the managerial role. And at a managerial role, you are not functional specialist, you are general management specialists, right? So we are taking you there. So if you look at INSEAD, if you look at St. Gallen's, if you look at IIM Ahmedabad, ISBs, London Business Schools, even your Harvard and Stanford programs, all of them are general management programs. None of them are specialization programs, because the idea is that you are able to build your expertise in that particular area, right? Okay, so that I think is Smita's question. Sangeeta, do you accept GRE score? No, we don't accept the GRE score, because GRE score is more technical and used more for the MS degrees. GMAT is a more management oriented score. So I'm sorry, we are not able to accept the GRE score. The GMAT scores of last 5 years are valid. So I think if you have given your GMAT after August 16, you should be able to then use your GMAT score. So the validity of the GMAT scores is for the 5 years. So anybody who has a GMAT score for an exam taken after August 2016 can apply with those scores.
So next thing is, can we give NMAT, because that is a related score? Yes, we do accept NMAT scores, right?
CAT or NMAT, yes.
Yeah, CAT, NMAT, ZAT, GMAT, all of them. But see, what we say is that we prefer GMAT because GMAT is a relative kind of score, whereas a test, relative kind of test, where the next question, the level of difficulty of next question depends on how you have answered the first question, right? Or the previous question. Okay. So GMAT we prefer, but you can submit your CAT score, ZAT score, NMAT score, GMAT score, any one of these.
And
right?
GMAT actually is a much easier exam for us at different stage of life. It's more generic, it's more IQ based. So you will find it easier to prepare for GMAT. That's the reason we also kind of, GMAT or NMAT scores are easier for you to give it. Meenakshi asked that, is there a business mastery project? I don't know what's a business mastery project, but as I said, we also have a corporate internship project. As a part of your courses, you would be doing a lot of projects, but you do a corporate internship, wherein a company assigns you a project which you work with. Also, while you are being mentored by the industry people, you work on a continuous live projects many a time. So that becomes, so like you, in the month of March, you're allocated a mentor. They may give you a live project, which is offline. You don't have to visit office, you do it offline. And you work on that live project with the feedback from your mentors. But these 6 weeks is on the job, or at your office, you are given a project to work with, right? Vanna, we have, I think, reiterated the selection process many a times. You can please visit our website as well, and you will get a detailed overview of what it is all about. Lena says, I have 8 years of career break, and by the end of this program, it will be 10. What's the probability of getting a job? If you have a solid work experience, if you have demonstrated certain kind of knowledge and skills, there is obviously a possibility. I've had a student with a 10-year break last year, last year, probably not this year, but yeah, we have had, and they have all got the job. So probability of you getting a job is equal to anybody else. I don't see a reason to say that yours is less than the other, right? Now, so Deepthi, is there any education loan provided? We don't provide, but we help you with education loan. So if you're planning to apply for an education loan, we'll definitely be assisting you, helping you secure that loan. We are a school of repute. Organizations and many of the banks know us very well, and through our reference letters, it will be easy for you to look at the role. The fees is too high. I mean, actually, this is one of the lowest fees of a full-time business education in the country. We also have a 1-year program, right, which is for people who have not taken a break, and the fee for that would be almost a double of this fee, though the inputs remain the same. because we understand and we are very, very sensitive to the need of women who really want to come back, we actually have kept the fees extremely low. You can yourself compare any of the top B-School 1-year full-time programs, which gives you a certificate which is valued by any and every company. It's a name which is going to be with you for your lifetime. It's not like a webinar or an online certificate which you have earned. It's a full-time education which you have added to your profile and you're stamped for life, right? And with the name like SPJIMR, you actually increase your worth many, many times. So if you look at that kind of a program with a full-time alumni status, with the kind of knowledge investments you get, actually, it's a very high return on investment program. You will yourself see that the fees is lowest when it comes to any other full-time program. Please don't compare with the online or those short-time certificate programs, because they do not add to the value as much as this one, because this being a full-time program.
Right. So we have a question from Savitha. She asks, how do you think COVID situations is going to affect the placements next year? A very, very tricky question, right? Because see, when we talk about this thing, there are both kind of sentiments, right? The sentiments are that it is going to be improved because if you look at the growth rates projected for the next financial year, those growth rates are much higher than the growth rate which we have in the current year with COVID, right? But another thing is, when we are talking about the companies and we are talking to the companies for our current batch as well. So the feeling which I am getting, or the feelers which we are getting, is that there are problems related to the regular hiring. But when we talk about diversity kind of hiring, those are not stalled even in this year, right? So a tricky question. No one can predict this, but the outlook is largely positive, right? The outlook is not largely negative, right? So there is mix thing. Yeah, Ashita, you want to add something?
Yeah, see, basically the market as of now seems to be difficult, but we still believe that we will be able to place all our students. And, honestly, there are certain things which have gone to the advantage. People are looking for a workforce which is more stable, and which is not really jumping jobs very often. And when it comes to you all, it is believed that because you've taken so much of a pain of doing a program like this, you are in a stage of life when you're not looking for frequent skips of the job. Actually, you would work with the organization long enough, and therefore organizations will be more and more open to looking at women who probably want to also come with a lot of perseverance, patience, right? You are mature, you've seen life, and those are the skills which is needed today. Adaptive. We don't know that, probably work from home will continue for some more time. Organizations are becoming more and more receptive to work from home now. Finally, I always feel it took COVID to make organizations respect work from home, but that's the advantage, because today they can actually tell you that, okay, these are certain assignments and, you need to work from them. You work from home 2 days, you come to office 3 days, but you're still on a full-time contract, right? There are multiple models which are emerging, and I don't see there is any reason why we will not be able to offer the opportunities to our participants. Would it take more time and effort from our side? Absolutely, but that's actually more this time than next year. We believe that once this passes by, next year suddenly would open up the economy, because organizations are being very conservative this year, but by that next year they will open up. Though I believe very strongly that even this year we should be able to get our batch very placed. It may take us a little more time, a little more effort, but we are very, very positive. Also, please understand, we are one of the top business schools. If there are job cuts, if people are losing jobs, let's say in the organization, they hire about 1,000 people from across, business schools at lateral and the fresh placements. So always the job cut would come from the lower end. They will stop recruiting from the tier B business schools, tier C business schools. But if you're looking at the top 5, top 7 business schools, you probably recruit about 20, 25 people from the top B schools. So you will still continue to recruit that, because you still need talent to perform better. So recession actually should not affect the top schools much, though the demand from the candidates may go up for sure. You are expected to perform better. You are expected to come with more adaptability. You're expected to come with more preparation. So yeah, in fact, I would say that you need to prepare hard. And then would we be able to offer you at least 5 opportunities? Absolutely. Right? I could see that somebody asked me whether we can apply for the government jobs. We don't get government organizations on campus because none of the government organizations actually visit private schools. But can you apply for the government job? Absolutely. You are free to apply to any job outside the formal placement process of the institution. You just need to keep us informed, right? But none of the government institutions go for recruitment to the private schools.
Dipali has written that.
What is the interview all about, right? So
Yes.
interview is about anything and everything. Yes, it is based on your experience of the past, what you've done in the job, what is your contribution been, your understanding of your technical area. So Dipali, if you're from operation, I don't know your area, but whatever your area is, whatever your job is, in that area, are you, do you know what's happening in the real world? Are you aware of the real happenings around you, right? That's the first part. And the second part would be generally opinion. You know, how much are you aware of the world around you? Do you have opinions, you know, about things which are around you? What is your value fit? You know, if you're in a situation like X or Z, how would you behave? So that's subjective, which is trying to understand the psychology of a person, which is trying to understand our orientation to the world around us, and hence more generic. Probably you can't prepare for that interview, but you need to prepare for the technical round, which is in the area of your own specialization, work experience, etc., etc. The class timing, this is a full-time program. You need to come with a mindset that you are devoting 1 year of your life to this program. We definitely have classes from 9 to 5 every day, Monday to Saturday. However, there's a lot of pre and the post classroom work. You need to work on assignments. So even after your classes, you may be required to stay back to work on the projects, on the readings with your group. You may have tests and exams every alternate day. So you need to prep for that. I have students from both Bombay and outside. People who are from Bombay also, whenever they leave, they attend to their family responsibilities and they're back to studying late into the night, etc. So you should treat it, it's not flexible in that sense. It's a full-time program and it will require you to make this your priority for the next 1 year. I mean, we have a crèche close by with whom we have an association, and that's an 8 a.m. to an 8 p.m. crèche, a very nice crèche wherein, you know, all our kids have also gone. So people who require a crèche facility for their kids and, you know, have limitations of where to keep them, we can work with the crèche and they will be able to offer 8 a.m. to an 8 p.m. crèche facilities for your child. So that's a kind of help we offer. After that, you need to work with your teammates, and even if you leave early, you need to tell them how do you plan to manage the work around. So it's but a full-time program which you need to see. Nandini, the fee structure, you can check on the web. The fee structure comes out to be 10.95 lakhs for the entire course, which is payable over 2 installments. There's a registration fee of 50,000 and there are 2 installments. So the rest of it, one which you pay before you start the course and the other one you pay towards the May of the program. So that's how the fee structure is. If you have any more questions, please just send us your details, emails, and somebody from my team will get in touch with you. As there's a fear, I have no exposure to industry like IT people have. For a small town girl, there will be a problem to go to the industry and secure a job. It doesn't matter whether you're from a small town or from a bigger town. Yes, you need to have orientation of the world around you. You may not know about the business, but you really need to have interest in economics. If you've never read and understood the business around, yes, it could be a problem. But if you ever were interested in what's happening and, you know, how's the economy performing, how is the business working, or, you know, those kind of things, probably it should not be. A little orientation to the world around you is important. We need to be you don't need to be from the mid-senior or senior roles. As I said, it really depends on where you come from, will determine where you go. So you need not be, you can be from the junior management as well. 4 years of experience is must, but we are not defining the level at which you are coming in. Last date of applying, as we said, the rolling admission. So I would suggest that earlier you get through, it's much better. So you can fill in your forms. The forms are open, I think till 20th of June, and then you would be intimated on your interview dates. Why I say that if you secure the admission, you have time to prepare for your GMAT as well, right? So that's a reason it probably would work for you. Feedback link, Swati, I couldn't get you. You probably need to give the question. If you missed the webinar, you may get back to us with your questions and we will answer it. International job market, not really, but if you have worked in the international job market, you can get through the companies and the companies will take you. So we do not get you interviewed in the international companies. They don't come in for none of the programs, honestly. For even our other full-time program, which is one of the highest rated program in the country today with the highest average and highest salaries, students start working in India. And if they perform better, then they are taken to the outside locations by the companies. So we do not kind of help you with the international job market. But if you are recruited into a company which has the offices in the international office, you get the equal opportunity. While it depends on what students come in, still has been the lower median CVC offered to the graduates approximately. Okay, so I will probably share some data I can talk about, but as I said, please don't hold it because it really depends on what you come with every year and what you go out. But I will still try to probably show you some of the statistics.
And it's on the website. Yeah.
It's on the website, you can download. This is basically 2019. And if you see the basic statistic, the 2019, the highest CTC was 28, average was 15. The highest percentage hike over the last salary drawn, which is what you came with, is 250%. Average is 130. Number of companies who participated in the placement process was 44, which is number of companies who took interviews. And number of internship companies were 14, right? Some of the companies wherein our people got selected are these, which was already mentioned here. These are our participants, and you can see that the kind of divisions and the roles in which they went through. This is obviously, we used to have specialization till this year we have, and so you will see by that. But this is basically the profile which comes to be. If you want to look at 2018, this is the data for 2018. Highest was 19.8, average being 13. Highest hike was 183. So last year we moved from 183 to 250%, and all these also improved. Average was 92, which became 130, and participating companies were 38, and we used to have 44. But for every participant, it obviously would differ. As I said, it depends on where you come from, what's your profile like, and hence where you go, right? So that's some of the data, and you can actually go on our website and you should be able to see more of people. You will also be able to look at, maybe I will show you. So some of the people who are on our industry panel, and, I was talking to you about. So people who contribute to the department. So these are some of the people, and these are all the people who are heads in their respective organization, business heads, MDs, CHROs, etc., etc. Right? So yeah, that's what I need to say. Written test. Anika, we said that the written test is GMAT. You need to appear for GMAT, which is not done by us, which is the central test. We only do interviews. GMAT is a satisfying meet. It is not a test which you give for a selection process. It's a test which you give just to be able to start the program. As I said, companies require GMAT when they start offering you placements. So it is required for that. Aim for a score of 500, so that is not mandatory. We select on the basis of only the interviews and your profile. Interview dates will be declared in a week's time. So by the next week, please watch out, and your details are already with us. We will send you the interview dates. As I say, that will be between 29th of June till about 4th of July. That is a week wherein we will have the interviews, and the results will be declared a week after your interview is scheduled, right? For more clarification, whom should we contact? I can type in a number here wherein you probably can contact. So if you have any doubts, I'm writing the number of my program coordinator. So Miss Nancy Parrott, and you can probably call her up and she will be able to help you in whatever is required. Anshul, is the number correct? If you can please just check for me.
Where have you put that number? It's
Oh,
not coming in the
yeah.
chat. Yes, now.
Yes.
9819818889. Yes. Yes.
Right. So,
Yes.
see, one thing I wanted to, end the session with, and, you can actually write to Mansi. And if you have any questions for me or Anshul as well, please write to Mansi on the email and she would direct your questions to us. So I'm writing her email ID as well. So please write to us. And if you require any of us to answer your questions, we will do it for you. What I wanted to tell you in the end as we close this is that, when you're joining this program, join it with the sense that you want to do something big in life. You're coming here to upskill yourself. And trust me, in 1 year, you will see yourself as a very changed individual. You're coming here for an education, for a batch, for a school, which is going to give you a lifetime of experience. Placements will come by. Placements will happen. If you work hard, if you have put in your investment of this 1 year and given your hard work to it, placements will happen. There's no reason that it won't. We have seen for the last 4 batches, people who are open, people who have worked hard, are ready to explore the world, they get placed. For the last 4 years, our placement track records have been about 90% plus. If at all, there are only 2 or 3 people in every batch who are not placed. But please mind that all of them at least sat for 7 to 8 interviews, but they could not shortlist, be selected either because they were not well prepared or they were too stringent on what they wanted in life. And that's not what life is all about. We all have to be open, right? And once we are open, because we don't know whether what we are demanding is right or not for us, right? So let the other person take a call whether they want you to absorb them in your organization and what they want you to do. So that's really, if you have that mindset, I think that's really, really going to help you. The batch size would not be more than 30. We for this batch, it takes a lot of investment. As I said, we have an industry mentor, a personal coach, a faculty mentor. So there's a lot of time of a lot of people who go by. So our batch size doesn't exceed 30. That's a maximum batch size we are looking at. I'm not sure whether the webinar is recorded. Dipali,
it is recorded.
Okay,
It is,
so
yeah.
we will share the link with you for the webinar. You can go through the recordings once. And as I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to write to Mansi or call her up, send your message to her, and we'll ensure that we get back to you. Thank you so much for spending this afternoon with us. And I hope it helped you and we were able to answer some of your queries. I really, really look forward to having you all with us, to meet you during the interviews this time. And if you go on the website, you can see a link for filling the form, etc. And thank you once again. It was great interacting with all of you.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Have a great evening and have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.